Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. My name is Dan VR, Deepwoken Investigator, and today we will be answering the question, what happened to Crusher? See, Crusher was one of the worst generation DeepTubers. See, from the start of the game, you had the old heads, you had the Unks and the big three. You had Agamatsu, Supa, myself. We were always here from the start. But from verse 2, that is when you had the great age of Deepwoken YouTubers. This is when we saw an explosion of new heads on the scene. It was like One Piece, right? Agamatsu had left his treasure, the Deepwoken bag that won 100,000 subscribers, and people had set out to find it. One of these brave new adventurers was Crusher. So when you're in the Deepwoken game, there's sort of three metas that you can fall into. You have the sort of informational yap kind of channels, which is somewhat Agamatsu and myself. You have the progression video channels, which is now Inu. Formerly, it would have been Supa and Valakis. Or you can have the build-making channels, something like Crimson Kaido, and previously, Crusher. All of these are incredibly lucrative. And honestly, it could start to go to your head. From the beginning, Crusher had a rapid expansion onto the scene with his PvP guides and his build-making showcases. But the cracks were already starting. In fact, I would say there were never cracks. It was always obvious that he was a little weird. He would make questionably racist remarks in the way that you wouldn't call him racist, like it was a joke, but it was also, why would you say that? It was in a situation where it was a joke, but like no one was joking. This was a serious conversation, and you just off-rip said that you hate Turkish people, Crusher? Okay. I guess, but it was something that a lot of people just kind of looked past, not my monkeys, not my circus kind of deal. But things started to get intense. Previously, over the summer of 2024, Crusher had come into a controversy where a girl previously that he had been online dating had come forward and said that he was abusive, narcissistic, and that he had done all of these crazy things. Now, Crusher came into the Deepwoken YouTuber Discord, like our private chat, and he asked us for help. And unfortunately, myself included, a lot of us consoled him. We had heard that essentially he was 17 and the girl was 21. So a lot of the things that he was doing, we overlooked, right? We didn't really look into the conversations. We didn't really look at this doc. It was, my belief at the time was, how can I reasonably justify, how can I reasonably judge the way a victim of abuse lashes out at their abuser? So he had done some pretty fucked up stuff, but who am I to come in and, play God there? So he kind of got out of that one. His ban was removed from the game, his ban was revoked from the Discord, and he was back to square one, essentially. He got away with it. Months and months later, the Deepwoken YouTuber Tana drops a video exposing Crusher. This is circling back to the previous controversy that Crusher had been in that we had all sort of brushed over. Now, with Tana's video and this new document, what it ended up happening is somehow, Crusher was 17, this girl was like 21, 22. Somehow, this bitch was the victim. He sent her nudes in a public Discord, he was encouraging her to end her life, all of this other insane shit, and when actually pressed about it, he simply said he did it because he was bored. The full Tana video on the situation is still up on his account, and I recommend that you go and watch that in its entirety for the full scope of Crusher's actions. But since then, no one's heard of Crusher. For a while, about the week of this, Tana video dropping and everything resurfacing, Crusher attempted to say it was fake, I'm fighting it, none of it's true. And then he went radio silent and dropped off the face of YouTube, dropped off the face of Deepwoken, which tells you about all you need to know for the validity of the allegations. I hope you guys enjoyed this short little video. I will be uploading every day for the next 127 days, because that is what the Discord has decided. I just want to make Deepwoken fun again and improve my editing. Cheers, everyone. Have a great day.